Here we go. Cups up, toast to the Morning Word crowd. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you for being here with us this morning. Those of you that will be watching later recording, thank you from all around the country, all around the state, and all around the world. We pray that God would minister to you right there where you are, and we know He will. Get your word open this morning to John 11, and as we do, excuse me, and as you take the time to turn there, I'm going to say hats off, kudos and blessings to all of our school teachers, to all of our police officers, and to all of our military personnel. Thank you so much for the job that you do. This morning, our morning word is resurrection life. Now you think, okay, Pastor Randy, we talked about the resurrection here for about a week and yesterday. So what are you going to say to us this morning about that? Well, we're in the story, and you're familiar with it, I'm sure. Most of you are, of the death of Lazarus. And Jesus has purposely let that man die. He could have stopped it, but he died, he said, because God wanted to do something through his death. And what was that death? It was going to be a resurrection. And so he used it to bring many people, many Jewish people to faith. That was the ultimate purpose of it, to bring many Jewish people to faith. And that's something that we need to think about sometimes, is that God uses our sufferings and our trials and our heartaches. He works through that in a way that we really would prefer him not to do. We would prefer him to keep us out of those type of situations, but he uses them to bring people to faith. But this morning I want to talk to you about one verse in this story that we all can apply today. Even though Easter is already passed. All right, here we go. Mary and Martha are mourning the death of Lazarus. It's been 4 days since he has passed away. Jesus and his disciples show up on the scene, but they don't come all the way to the house. They stop, and the word goes to the house by people that saw Jesus to tell Mary and Martha that Jesus was here. So Martha leaves the wake, so to speak, and comes and meets Jesus. And here's what she says, verse 20 of chapter 11. Now Martha, as soon as she heard that Jesus was coming, went and met him, but Mary was sitting in the house. Now Martha said to Jesus, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now I know that whatever you ask of God, God will give you. Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. Martha said, I know that he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, he shall live. And whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this? She said, yes, Lord. I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who has come into the world. You see, Jesus came to resurrect the body of Lazarus. That's what he came to do. But he wanted Martha to know something, and he wanted us to know something, that there doesn't have to be a bodily resurrection for there to be a resurrection. He said, I am the resurrection and the life. And he told her about those that died would be resurrected in the end days to life. That there would be those, excuse me, who would not die, but when Christ came back would be caught up to meet him in the air. And so he's indicating that the end of all things is the resurrection of the living and the dead. But he's also indicating something here to her and to us. And here's what he's saying. That he himself is the resurrection and the life. And that we don't have to wait for an event, the return of Christ, if you will, or after we die to be resurrected, or the return of Christ to be raptured. We can have resurrected life right now. We can have resurrection life right now. Jesus came to give us life, Zoe, the life of God. And that life is a resurrection of hope, faith, joy, and love. And there's all of us at some point in time begin to lose or surrender some of that. We lose some of our joy. We lose some of our hope. We surrender some of our faith. We set aside, some of our love, and or it gets abused, and we become loveless and cold and cold-hearted or whatever. We've had the end of a relationship, maybe a divorce, maybe an abandonment or something like that. And Jesus is saying, listen, you don't have to wait for the return of Christ to regain all of those things. That you can have resurrection life, that you and I can have resurrection life right now. We can walk in newness of life. We can live with a living hope, not just a resurrection hope. We can live with a living hope. What does that mean, Pastor Randy? Well, that means, let's go up here what she said. Lord, I know that even right now, anything you ask can be done. Anything. And that's to live with the expectation that my situation can change in a moment. Certainly it can change for the bad in a moment, but it can change for the good in a moment. At any moment, on any day, at any time, God can change our situation. That things can change. That our hard-hearted child that has left home and doesn't contact us anymore, that today might be the day that God moves upon their heart and that intersects their life with someone that would say something that would cause them to call home or come home. You never know what might happen. And resurrection life, if I could say it this way, is living with resurrected hope, resurrected joy, resurrected faith, and resurrected love. That God can resurrect that you can have that right now. There is no boundary. There is nothing hindering. There is nothing that can keep you from living your life, regardless of your situation, with resurrection hope, resurrection joy, resurrection faith, and resurrection love. Regardless of situation, you can experience love, hope, faith, and joy right now. Right now. It doesn't matter. You don't have to have a husband. You don't have to have a wife. You don't have to have kids all up under your arms. You don't even have to have kids at all. You don't have to have a job. You don't have to have health. You don't have to have anything. You don't have to have a friend. That Jesus, listen, Jesus is the resurrection and the life. And that Jesus himself is and can provide faith, hope, joy, and love in my life every single day. I don't have to forfeit those. I don't have to wait for an event. I don't need you to coddle me. I don't need you to comfort me in order to have it. I don't have to have a letter in the mail. I don't have to have a check in the checkbook. I don't have to have any money. I don't have to have anything. All I need is Jesus. And see, living the resurrection life is living life with a certain perspective. It's living life through the perspective and the lens of the love and the life and the hope and the joy and the faith of Christ. It's looking at life like he looked at life. It's living life like he lived life. Listen, Jesus knew he was going to the cross. He was born with a death sentence hanging over his head. That didn't keep him from living the resurrected life. He knew that he was going to be abandoned by his friends. That didn't keep him from living the resurrected life. That he was born out of wedlock. That his earthly father died before he did. That his children, his brothers and sisters, his siblings thought that he had a demon. They thought he was a nutcase. That people thought he was the son of Beelzebub. That people thought he was a blasphemer. That didn't keep him from living the resurrected life. He never owned anything. He never owned his own home. When he moved away from home, he was an itinerant preacher with a following of people that contributed to his life. He was completely dependent, if we might say that God had him living a life that was dependent upon the love and the hope and the joy and the faith of others. And so it doesn't matter. People today are they wake up or they look around or they listen to some nincompoop that's telling them, you'll never have anything because you're black. You'll never have anything because you're poor. You'll always be looked down upon because you're divorced. You'll always be ostracized and looked down upon because you have no children. You don't have a job. You live on the wrong side of town. your house looks like a hornet's nest, and you don't, your car looks like a wagon held together with baling wire. And they point to all of these external things in your life, and they say, this is what's hindering you. This is why you'll never be anything. You're stupid. You don't know who your mom and daddy is. Nobody cares about you, so forth and so on. And so we think that it's someone else's fault, and we think that we can't escape our situations. But I'm telling you that Jesus said right here, I am the resurrection and the life. And I can have that life right now by faith in Jesus Christ. My whole perspective on life can change. I can look at that janked up car right there in this raggedy old house I live in and have as much joy as any other person on the planet because Jesus Christ is my Lord. I can have all the joy and the hope and the faith and the love of anybody on the planet because Jesus Christ is my living hope. He's my living faith. He's my living love. He's my living joy. And if I have him, there is no prerequisite outside of Christ himself that I need to live the resurrected life. I don't need stuff. I don't need people. Now, don't get me wrong. These things have been placed in our life. They are enjoyable. It's not good for man to be alone. Relationships are enjoyable. But are you telling me that the guy that's on death row that doesn't have any interaction with other people, that he can't have hope and joy and faith? Of course he can. Or the guy that's living alone up there in Montana and Timbuktu, who knows where, by himself, can he not have faith, hope, love, and joy in his life? Can he not live the resurrected life? Of course he can. Are you telling me that the guy the widower whose wife just died and whose kids are gone and never speak to him, that he can't live the resurrected life? Of course he can. So the reason I use these things as examples is to tell us that there is nothing and no one in this world that is a prerequisite for you or I to have, experience, and enjoy the resurrected life of Jesus. I'm going to close with this story. When Beth worked in Aliceville as a nurse practitioner for Dr. Gentry, he was a great man and left a great legacy of many believing children and grandchildren, and did a great work in his community and in his church for the Lord. And to him, we owe a great debt of gratitude. He gave Beth a wonderful job for 11 years. But while she was basically running his business and working in his office, she got to meet a lot of wonderful people from the Aliceville and Pickens County area, and even from Mississippi and so forth. But there was this one particular person who came in by himself, and he lived by himself, and he always referred to us, or to himself in the plural. Well, we're going to go hunting. Well, we're going to go to the grocery store. Well, we needed to come see you here at the office. And Beth said, well, who's we? He said, me and Jesus. Everywhere he went, he was conscious of Jesus being with him. And even though he was alone, he knew that Jesus was with him. So he always referred to himself as, when he did something or thought something, as we. It was we. Now listen, guys, that may sound simple. That may even sound a little bit on the borderline stupid. But let me tell you what that is. That's the resurrected life. That's the man that refuses to be isolated, ostracized, criticized, and put down, and told that he can't enjoy life because he's alone, poor, living, all these things. I got Jesus. And me and Jesus, we live together a resurrected life. And we don't need anything else to enjoy life. He's my provider. He's my protector. He's my counselor, my keeper, my comforter, my friend. I mean, guys, listen, we've got to the reason that you and I have these extreme highs and extreme lows, and we can't hardly get out of bed without medication, go through the day without medication, and get into bed without medication, because our minds and consequently with it, our perspective and outlook on life goes up and down like a roller coaster every single day. We are giving away. We are forfeiting. The enemy can't take it. if we don't have it, it's because we forfeited it. We handed it over. We neglected it. That you and I today, right now, April the 5th, 2021, can live a resurrected life that's filled with hope, joy, faith, and love. And not one thing has to change. You can have it right now. Just a simple prayer of dependency, of gratitude to God, and asking Him to help you walk and help us to walk in the knowledge, spiritual knowledge, that He is with us and He's all I need. He's all I need. I sing because I'm happy. I'm happy because Christ is alive and Christ is with me and Christ is in me. And Jesus has this handled. Jesus has your life handled, okay? You may not have a grasp on the morning yet. You know, you're like Micah, you probably can't find your toothbrush this morning, but Jesus has it handled, all right? So here's the deal. Why don't we back up and lighten up, Francis? Why don't we change our perspective? The world's not going to hand you the life that you want. You got to take it. And it all begins, it's all framed from our perspective. That's what Jesus was telling Martha. Martha, you're waiting for me to do something. You're waiting for me to pray a prayer and something be done. You're waiting for Lazarus to get up. You're waiting for the resurrection day. And those things are okay. But you are not living the resurrected life because you think that something else has to be done in order to have it. An event has to occur. No, it does not. Nothing has to change. It's not required. It's not a prerequisite. You can have resurrected life this morning. You can live with all the hope, faith, joy, peace of anyone else on the planet, regardless of their situation or yours. So the question is, are we going to have it? That's what He was telling Martha. That's what He told Mary. That's what He's telling you and I. What are you waiting on? I am. Let's say it together. Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the resurrection and the life. Hope you guys have a great day. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Oh, by the way, here's a little mission report. The family and the two families that we took up money for, okay? Not money, but we took up gift cards for. Here's how you guys responded there. Are you ready? Hold on to yourself. Get your cup and hold on to it. Are you ready? You guys contributed nearly $4,500 worth of gift cards. I was able to get some gift cards to that family. She had just called me and said, we need pull-ups for the kids and the rent's due. And remember, I told you that her husband's out of work. He was the sole breadwinner. And you guys provided enough. Listen, they went and got a tank full of gas, groceries, pull-ups, bought the boys, their little boys, Easter baskets, put candy in them, got them some bunnies, and went and bought Easter eggs and was able to hide Easter eggs for them and have an Easter egg hunt yesterday. And she said, Pastor Randy, she said, I just can't tell you that you've provided and your people have provided for us to have the absolutely best Easter we've ever had. Isn't that great? You guys did that. I never expected that kind of turn. I'm going to have to stop asking y'all to contribute to stuff, man. You guys give so much money, I don't even know what to do with it. I was driving around with $2,500 worth of gift cards in my truck. I'm going, I hope I don't have a wreck or somebody knock me in the head and get all these gift cards. But we got them to the people, and they are so grateful. And thank you all for being the hands and the feet, the eyes and the mouth of Jesus. Now listen, go live this day from the perspective that Jesus is the resurrection life. See you guys tomorrow. Good Lord willing, and the saints don't rise. Say it, Brandy. Peace out.